So it's likely, looking back, we'll conclude that no organization has dishonored itself more thoroughly during this pandemic than the World Health Organization. In the early days of the fast-spreading outbreak, the World Health Organization told a series of lies at the behest of the Chinese government that undoubtedly cost people their lives. WHO told the world the virus couldn't spread person to person, long after it was perfectly clear that it could. At the same moment China was hoarding face masks, WHO claimed face masks didn't help. By early February, the WHO was still whining about the stigma and racism of connecting the virus to the country it came from. At every step of this disaster, the WHO has done the bidding of its masters in Beijing, and often at the expense of public health. This week, the president said he's considering pulling funding from WHO. Our country gives that corrupt organization more than $100 million a year. We're the largest donors. Why? So we can be misled, so more people can die? It's not clear why. The head of WHO, Tedros Adhanom, is a buffoonish villain right out of the Saturday morning cartoons. This so-called public health official once covered up cholera outbreaks in Ethiopia for political reasons. Of course, he is a public health official, if you can even imagine. You couldn't pick a worse candidate if you tried. He was China's candidate, needless to say. Now he's claiming that if the United States pulls funding for World Health Organization, we'll have blood on our hands.
Please don't politicize this virus. If you want to have many more body bags, then you do it. If you don't want many more body bags, then you refrain from politicizing it.
Don't politicize this, he begs. The irony alarm goes off. As of tonight, World Health Organization is refusing to help Taiwan battle the pandemic. Why is that? Politics. The Chinese government doesn't like Taiwan. WHO leaders do whatever China tells them to do. They're letting the Taiwanese people suffer. Just this week, Tedros attacked Taiwan again. He claimed that some anonymous person said something racist about him online, and it must be the fault of the Taiwanese government. He offered no evidence for that. This man is a joke, he's an embarrassment and a danger, and we should not be sending him any more U.S. dollars. Lonnie Chen is a fellow at the Hoover Institution, and he joins us tonight. Lonnie, thanks so much for coming on. So why is this, I mean, I guess you could ignore an institution like WHO in a normal time, but in the middle of a pandemic, their failures are so obvious. Why would we ever continue to abet them with American money?
Well, it's a great question. We send $400 million a year over there, Tucker, to the World Health Organization. And what do? They essentially accept wholesale what the Chinese government has said about not just this outbreak, but about how they've dealt with it. And then you have the WHO essentially, I write, laundering this information, making it seem legitimate. And the problem here is that the World Health Organization is an organization whose words are respected and thought of highly, not just here in the United States, but in other countries around the world. So the challenge is when you have a respectable-looking organization spreading these lies, it becomes a problem.
I mean, just to put some meat on this bone for a second. We're in the middle of a global pandemic. Taiwan, which is a big country, cannot gain admission to the World Health Organization. Why?
Well, because quite simply, the politics of how China sees Taiwan have interfered. You see, China's always seen Taiwan as a renegade province, and the World Health Organization has accepted that point of view. Now, the politics would be one thing, but the problem is in the current crisis, Taiwan actually sounded the alarm on coronavirus in December. They actually wrote to the World Health Organization and said, hey, this seems kind of strange. Maybe you ought to look into it. And by the way, when you do, tell the rest of the world about it. And for some reason, the World Health Organization declined entirely to investigate those claims from Taiwan. So this is not just a matter of politics. If it were just politics, that'd be one thing. But this is politics bleeding over, as you've said, into public health. So it's accepting Beijing's view of Taiwan. Not only that, but taking that and going one step further, not allowing anything that's coming from Taiwan, even if it's a legitimate question, to be investigated. And that, unfortunately, cost us time and probably lives.
It's just shocking that they would do something like that. I don't know, why is this not a headline in the New York Times every day? It's really stunning. Lonnie Chen, it's great to see you tonight. I hope you'll come back. Thank you.
Thank you.